so much, and thank you for the opportunity, Dr. Chitra, the entire ARC team. And I'm really, really enjoying myself, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 days as well. So I was happy when she said critical skill sets because it gives me an opportunity to say what I want to and not have to look at literature and look at what anybody else is saying. So this is entirely what I think is a critical skill set in glaucoma. So I'll outline it with a diagnostic requisite and management requisite, which I think every ophthalmologist should know. So obviously, when you're talking of glaucoma, you have to talk of intraocular pressure. You have to look at the angle. You have to look at the optic nerve, and you have to see whether the visual fields have had the damage that the optic nerve seems to suggest. Coming to the management requisites, the first thing is, of course, reducing the pressure, whether you do it with medicine or you do it with surgery, which is trabeculectomy, which is our bread and butter, or in refractory conditions, we also use glaucoma drainage devices. So coming to the intraocular pressure, the non-contact tonometer from a glaucoma perspective is a great screening tool, but as a caveat, we would not want you to diagnose or manage glaucoma on NCT readings alone, simply because there are so many sources of variability. But it's a great tool to take out into the population and pick up everybody who has more than 21 pressures and then do it on the GAT again. Everyday gonioscopy, I must thank our colleague Dr. Faisal and our resident Dr. Malik who've made this little video for us. So this is easy. This is every day. Put in a drop of paracaine, patient to look up, place in the inferior fornix and look at the angle. You cannot complete a glaucoma evaluation or a comprehensive evaluation if you don't do gonioscopy. And this is real time, unedited, and this is how much time it takes. About 10 seconds extra from a comprehensive ophthalmological examination is all.
Yes, ma'am. Abhi phone lage bolte hain.
So the next thing,
Dr. Satyajit, please mute yourself.
Sorry.
Okay, so we grade the angle. Why is it important? Because angle closure glaucoma has, we know there's a renewed interest as a major cause of blindness. And in India, Dr. Ravi Thomas's seminal paper showed us that 10% of the population had occludable angles. So what grading to use doesn't matter. It might be an exam question. What is Sheffer? What is she? What is whatever? But then it doesn't matter as long as you know that your definition is consistent and you know what we term as occludability, which means the posterior part of the trabecular meshwork is visible in less than 90 degrees of the angle. You just need to look at that. And if it is visible in just less than 90 degrees, this angle is occludable and you need to look out. The optic disc, this is one of my favorite slides, which when I teach my residents, 8 intrapapillary, 4 peripapillary features. Easy. 2 of the disc, 2 aspects of neuroretinal rim, 3 aspects of the cup, and the position of the central retinal trunk, because many times it is nasally shifted. Look for optic disc hemorrhages, retinal nerve fiber layer, arteriolar diameter, and excessive peripapillary atrophy. And that's all that you need to look for. And once you've seen this, these are the easy characteristics of a glaucomatous disc, an NRR which does not respect the ISNT rule: notching, verticalization, bearing, vessel bayoneting, nasalization, any disc hemorrhage, and an abnormally large peripapillary atrophy. So coming to what we do, the fundamental goal to understand is to slow the rate of cell loss to the age-dependent rate. You're not going to get it back to normal, but as this slide shows, this is untreated. And whenever you catch it, wherever you are, you might want to bring the slope up to match a normal individual, but it can never go right up there because the loss has happened. So it's important for you to understand that, slow the rate of ganglion cell loss. Once diagnosed, the target pressure is individualized. It's easy if you think about it as early, moderate, advanced. Early glaucomas, about 18 millimeters or less, about 25% less than baseline. 15 millimeters, 12 millimeters, 30% and 40%. Ocular hypertensives, if you need to treat them, need to be just less than 21 millimeters, and 20% reduction is fine. So it's based upon the initial pressure, the stage of the disease, the rate of damage, and the central corneal thickness, of course. The idea is to maintain functional vision through the lifetime. So the treatments, the eye drops are the most common, prostaglandin analogs, There's no question of India or America or anywhere. Science tells us that prostaglandin analogs are the best, but beta-adrenergic antagonists could be a substitute in case it's not affordable. Oral and carbonic anhydrase inhibitors and alpha-adrenergic agonists are the second and third line usually. Laser trabeculoplasty is a great thing. Anybody can do it with a frequency double YAG also. You don't need too much. You can do an argon laser trabeculoplasty if you wish, but SLT is the one that is available. And incisional surgery, trabeculectomy is still the gold standard. So looking at medical interventions overall, as single agents, PGAs are most effective. And this is a nichor from 50 trials. Prostaglandin analogs appear to be similar in the ability to lower pressure. So it makes no difference which one is better. And they lower more than other agents, including brimonidine, dorzolamide, and timolol. So PGAs lower it more, but in combination, remember dorzolamide and timolol lowers it to the same amount. But if you're going to give dorzolamide and timolol, let me tell you, the cost might be similar. Coming to surgical intervention, laser trabeculoplasty, like I said, it effectively lowers IOP regardless of the type of laser. This is where the SLT is so this is an SLT going on. You can see it's easy. You just have to look at the trabecular mesh. These little white things are called champagne bubbles. So this is the end of your surgical procedure. And really, if you can keep even half of them off drugs for 5 years, which is what most studies tell us, I think it's a huge advantage. So these are all the champagne bubbles that we see coming out. So trabeculectomy is more effective, of course, than non-penetrating surgeries. And intraoperative mitomycin C reduces it more and has the trabeculectomy working for a longer time. So I'll cut this short because this is usual trabeculectomy. You can see this patient had so much of a redness because of, and his pressures were controlled, but we had to do the surgery. So sometimes you need to do that because of drug toxicity. So if at all, these are small tips. This is a standard flap being used, but what we do is the paracentesis is parallel to the limbus. We always use pilocarpine to bring the pupil down before entering the eye. And we always use viscoelastic because low pressure trabeculectomy is the one which is going to land into trouble. So there's no problem with keeping the pressure. And you see, this is a long tunnel so that you don't lose. So don't do it at smaller pressure. So this is enough. When you use a Kelly's Desmet sponge, it's often asked, usually it's 0.75 millimeters diameter. So 2 or 2.5 punches are enough. That gives you about 2 millimeters. And then an adequate iridectomy, which covers the sclerostomy that you've made, and then any of your suturing techniques. So that's really principles of surgery, which all of you should be doing. Every ophthalmologist should be able to do trabeculectomy reliably. I'll just touch upon angle closure because it's not a single disease, it's a spectrum. The mainstay is laser iridotomy across the spectrum of angle closure, primary angle closure glaucoma. And once the pupillary block is relieved, the principles of treatment are much the same as that for open angle glaucoma. So it doesn't matter what you do after that. The indications, this is very, very important, PSCS, because otherwise most of what you would be doing is lasering occludable angles, which we don't need. So what we do if we have PSCS is angle closure of the fellow eye, a family history, need for repeated dilatations like retinal detachment or retinal problems, one-eyed patients, and right at the end is poor access. If you think this occludable angle patient is never going to come back to you. So I'll just wind up with what I would like my resident to do. Now, it's desirable to detect cases at a stage where optic neuropathy is yet to develop, and you are reasonably certain that treating this particular patient will help prevent glaucoma. But then that's utopian. There's no way that anybody is going to know that. But what is doable is to diagnose established glaucoma. The problem is that we are missing glaucomas which are established, and Dr. Vijaya's paper has shown 90% of the glaucomas that they detected in the Chennai glaucoma study in a population-based manner were undetected and at a stage where treatment can prevent blindness. But what is more worrying to us was in that paper that half of those patients had visited an ophthalmologist in the last 1 year. And that is not fair, according to us. So comprehensive eye exam is our cornerstone to achieve this goal. It's heartbreaking to have wonderful cataract surgeries done and then sent to us with a 0.9 cup because there is no increase in vision. Rational treatment, depending on the type and severity of the glaucoma, is likely to preserve visual function in our patient's lifetime. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Sushmita ma'am. That was an excellent presentation and a complete overview. In fact, we had our complete glaucoma revised in the last 7 minutes. Dr. Deven sir, your comments?
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Sushmita. Extraordinary talk in the limited time that was allotted to you. I would just ask all the fellows, residents, and the teachers who are listening to us to remember what Dr. Sushmita showed in the first slide. That is crucial for the diagnostic part. I'm just going to reinforce that. Please don't allow your residents or fellows to do anything else till they have learned applanation, 90-day examination, Goldman gonioscopy for the residents, and once they are fellows, they can do 4-mirror and perimetry. So I think these are the 4 crucial tools that she showed us, and I reinforce that nothing else should be allowed till they do this. For the medical management part, I'm going to reinforce that just more than 2 bottles of medication, barring exceptions, more than 2 bottles of medication, I think it's a recipe for progression of glaucoma. So if the patient needs more than 2 bottles of medication, it is good to consider a laser trabeculoplasty or a trab as you deem fit. And in the lasers, I think the angle closure spectrum, YAG iridotomy, it's a relatively a safe procedure. They should learn this in the residency. And remember that nearly 40 to 50%, that is nearly half the adult patients, would need that. So that is a crucial thing. And trabeculectomy and combined surgery would be my thing for, they must do it. They must be confident of it. In rural settings or in camp settings, doing combined surgery is not there. So I think it's very important. She did not even touch upon OCT and stuff like that, which are fancy tools, and that is not necessary. And thank you again, Dr. Sushmita, and thank you, Dr. Anaga.
Thank you
So
so
remember,
much.
this was critical skills.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Critical skills don't have OCT and
I'm
UVM.
happy that you did not even if you remove the word critical, I would still not go into OCT, because I think the 4 things I said, applanation, 90-day examination, Goldman gonioscopy, and perimetry is quite good. You will agree with me, Sushmita.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt.
Ma'am, in
Thanks,
your talk,
Dr.
yes, sir. Yes. So, ma'am, in your talk, you mentioned about the study where they showed that a lot of patients of glaucoma were missed in the last 1 year, where they had actually been seen by an ophthalmologist. Ma'am, what do you think are the reasons why, in spite of being trained in general ophthalmology, in spite of knowing all these signs and how to pick up glaucoma, why are patients being missed?
You know, Anaga, it's sad, but it's true, and there's no point brushing the fact under the carpet. It's not that people don't know. So when I'm often told to go out and teach, I'm now beginning to realize that it's not that they don't know, because the same people, if I'm going to take an interview and say, how are you going to diagnose glaucoma, are going to tell me applanation, tonometry, gonioscopy, and optic disc. It's not that an ophthalmologist doesn't know, but Anaga, how do we get our residents to do it? And how do we get every ophthalmologist in the country to do applanation, tonometry, and the gonioscopy, and look at the optic disc before sending the patient away with, say, tear substitute? So that's our problem, that a comprehensive eye exam is not going to make you miss it. And what you miss is not important. So if you remember, the doable thing is catch the established glaucomas. I'm not even talking of a 0.6 cup with a little bit of red on OCT with a pressure of 19 or 20. It's okay to miss that. Our problem is missing established blinding glaucomas. That is what should not be missed. And looking at the disc, doing a Van Herrick, even a torchlight test, if you don't do a gonioscopy, is enough to just diagnose angle closure and to diagnose a glaucomatous optic neuropathy. That's
so true, ma'am. I think maybe it's really sad that maybe once they get into clinical practice and private practice, more attention is on cataracts and probably surgeries or in patients which may bring more, and maybe they're easily missed because the attention to detail is reduced. So by such kind of webinars and such kind of talks, I think we need to reiterate that the importance should not be reduced, and we need to revise, and we need to look at every patient as a potential patient of glaucoma, and so as to not miss it.
Yeah,
And
but you know,
I
I'm
think
hopeful. Naga, I am hopeful that with the ARC sessions like today's, I think we are on the right path. So please continue to do more often and continue to involve good teachers like Shushmita.
Thank
I
you so
just
much,
want to
ma'am.
quote Dr. Harsh, who always used to tell us when we were 20 years ago, hanging on to Dr. Harsh and Dr. Vijaya, Dr. Amanjeet, what all they were saying. And he used to say something that, you know, you should do it and catch the glaucoma, क्योंकि वो तो जिंदगी भर के लिए तुम्हारे पास है. He's a patient, you do a cataract, he goes off tomorrow, that's it. These guys, you hold on forever. So it's more lucrative to catch them. So that's it.
So true, ma'am. So true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us and
Thank you. I
spending your
loved it.
valuable time. It was
Thank
a
you.
lovely time. Thank you.